Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I want to talk to you guys about one of the biggest mistakes that I make year after year right here on my own property. A mistake that many of you guys probably run into as well, along with two simple and free resources to actually help you plan out your upcoming grow season. With that said, I think it's important that I start back here on the back of my property, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you kind of an update of where we are right now here in Michigan. All right, guys, well, one of the realities of living here in Michigan is the fact that in the spring we run into a lot of very crappy weather. And as you can see back here, that with the amount of rain and wind that we have gotten, that I have a pine tree, a diseased one that was really been dying the last couple of years, has come up out of the ground. So that is gonna be something a little later in the spring that we're gonna have to get that cleaned up. It is actually hitting one of our peach trees back here. Thank God it didn't cause any damage. These trees have been growing now for, I want to say about 5 years. And last year we had a really good harvest from them, or would have if it didn't turn into a situation where we had someone steal our peaches off one of the trees. This one here though produced well over 100 different peaches, and I'm very, very optimistic that we're gonna run into some great luck this year. If I can get it to focus here, you can kind of see that it does have a little bit of green foliage already starting on it. So very excited for that opportunity, but the rest of the property looks like crap right now. And that's probably most people up here in the Midwest are experiencing the same thing. So what is my biggest mistake that I run into? Well, simply put, it's actually having a plan for what I want to achieve each year. Now it's really easy to get out into a big box store or a greenhouse and purchase a ton of seed starts, or even just starting seeds. We have a hoop house here. We had a greenhouse that was damaged in a storm a couple of years ago, but it's easy to get out and start growing things without having a plan. And if you don't have a plan, you're gonna run into a lot of issues. Two things that I like to consider right off the bat is what it is I need to grow and what it is I wanna grow. Now, things that I need to grow are things that I like to consume, things that I would be at the grocery store buying, things that are gonna save me money. If I'm not saving money, what's the purpose of doing this? And if I'm not growing things that I enjoy consuming, well, then again, what is the purpose of this? So two things that I really do like to grow are bell peppers and tomatoes. I grow a lot of them here on my property. In fact, I usually plant around 200 bell pepper plants. I get people asking all the time in the comments or reaching out to us direct messenger saying, you know, hey, what are you growing that many for? And the fact of the matter is that with the weather up here in Michigan, we've actually had a lot of unfortunate late frost dates or early frost dates, which has resulted in a lot of our pepper and tomato plants being killed. So with that said, by planting an excess of them, we have an opportunity really to kind of protect our interests as to what we're growing. So by doing that, out of the 150, I think, that I planted last year, about 90 of them were damaged due to a really late frost, which really stunted their growth. The year before that, a lot of the gardeners that I talked to in the area really reported the same situation as to very small harvest or yields from pepper plants. So you never know what's gonna happen. I'd rather have too many than not enough. We do have a small produce stand that we put out at the end of the road that we can definitely put any excess on, and generally we just put it out there for donation. A lot of people can't afford fresh fruits and vegetables. Unfortunately, that is the scary fact of the world that we live in right now. So if we can help people out, I'd really like that opportunity again. But then tomatoes, it's always finicky here in Michigan with how tomatoes are gonna grow. We're hoping always for a great harvest, but again, I'd rather plant too many than not enough. And then I gotta look at the space that I have. So I have this in-ground bed here that we grew pumpkins on. We didn't get a great harvest out of it. And because I didn't have a great plan, most of it actually didn't have anything growing in it last year. And even after doing a lot of pre-planning on when we were gonna plant the pumpkins, we did end up with a very small harvest. This area over here with our fence line, we typically grow tomatoes in this area. Again, kind of the same situation. We ran into some very funky weather last year, which resulted in a lot of lost plants. Out here we had bell peppers, we had watermelon growing in that bed, bell peppers and some tomatoes here, and then some potatoes in the other bed. And then we had cayenne peppers actually growing over there. And I just recently ripped out kind of the old vegetation that was in there. And then I brought my blowtorch out and I blowtorched these beds just to help kill any seeds that maybe were left in there. This is what was left. I do got to get this cleaned up. We had raised beds out here by our hoop house that had bell peppers in it. And then my raised beds up by the house had a combination of some herbs and the two taller ones. And then the rest of them pretty much had bell peppers in it and some lettuce. Things that are quick and easy to grab. Like I said, I hate this time of the year because it just looks like crap out here, but having a plan is super important. So once you know what you want to grow, then you got to have an idea of how to plan it out. And the two free resources that I really like to use is Google Calendar. It's simple. Most people have a Google account, so you can create a specific calendar in Google that I call Garden 2026. It has an outline of everything that I want to grow in my garden. And then I use ChatGPT or other AI platforms to help determine when my last frost date is and when's the best time to plant the plants that I want to grow. In fact, there's a lot of AI tools out there now that'll actually show you what's the easiest thing to grow in beds and kind of space it out. I don't do that because I don't tend to follow the traditional idea of spacing. I do like to microplant. But with that said, using Google Calendar, I have a lot of options where I can go in and I can auto create dates in my Google Calendar with a couple of day reminder. I can set it for a couple hours, couple days, couple weeks. Generally, I set it for about a 4 or 5 day notice, and then I have the week to kind of plan it out. So if I need to get out here and rototill these beds next weekend, then well, that's pretty simple. It's on my calendar. I'm gonna get a reminder a few days beforehand. I know to get up to the gas station, get a couple gallons of gas, and make sure that the rototiller is ready, and then I can get out here and do that. Last weekend, I came out here and I burned the top of those garden beds with my, what is it called? Well, I burned them. So I got them cleaned out, got them all ready for these ones up here and these metal ones down here. I'm gonna actually get out here tonight and get these ones kind of cleaned up. And we're very fortunate tonight to have had a pretty decent day. It was the first day in about 2 weeks that it hasn't rained out, and I had an opportunity to kind of get out here and start getting some things cleaned up. As you can see behind me, we get a lot of garbage, like someone's ball. It's an exercise ball that's actually been blowing back into our property for like the last 3 years. We've popped several of them. They're from a neighbor's house. They just keep blowing over here. We get a lot of garbage actually out by the road that we always have to clean up in the spring. And then we get a lot that blows into the wood line that we have to clean up. We have a beautiful property here, especially in the spring and summer once everything gets cleaned up. But unfortunately, we do have the township that's right next to us. We're the first house out here, kind of in the country. So a lot of garbage, a lot of debris blows this way. And then unfortunately too, we still have our greenhouse that did get hit by that tree that fell on it that will hopefully get cleaned up this year. Last summer, what I did was I was taking bits and pieces of it and throwing it away to kind of save on some of the disposal costs. We looked at a portable dumpster. It was going to be about $700 to get it out here and get it cleaned up. And then the same back here, we've had a lot of debris, right there, a lot of debris that's blown in our yard this winter that we got to get cleaned up. So having a plan is critically important, especially if you're going to have a great season. So like I said, get out, get that plan early, use a calendar, use resources online. There's tons of free ones. Google Calendar though is one of the easiest ones. It can link up with your phone and you have options to create sub calendars. So I already have mine planned out for spring, summer, and fall, what I want to grow, what I'm going to need to do, what projects I need to do around the house. And it's a simple way, and I can share that calendar with other people too. So if I have people helping me on projects, it's just me and Atlas this year, it is a quick and easy option. We have lots to do this year. We got to get this cleaned up. Lots of garden beds to get cleaned up, and lots of things to really start getting ready to plant, such as our lettuce. onions, and a lot of our cold hardy crops. And I think we're gonna have a pretty fantastic season this year. Lots of future videos ahead, so if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you here on our channel. We'd love to show you everything that we're doing. And with that said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.